Reporting live from the Daily Planet is me, one of your hosts, Justin.
And it is me, Steve Lombard.
And it is me, Steph Kent.
Oh, you know what? That was a terrible intro, guys. We need to do better.
That was good. I was in character,
I
in
was rolling
universe.
with it.
Oh, okay.
There is no Justin in the Daily Planet, so that's on you.
Let it be known that
Yeah.
there was a black guy with glasses in the background in the Daily Planet of Superman.
He was in the ship too. He was in the
Yeah.
terrific ship too.
But guys, we have some breaking news on this podcast. We cannot go further until we address the huge news, and that is that we are joined by the illustrious, the indestructible, the person who could leap tall buildings in a single bound. It is Emily, Movie Mija. Welcome to the show.
Hey. Thank you guys for having me back. I'm so excited to be here and be with Stefania. Like, we are both here, so I hope we can handle
Yes.
us at
Oh,
the same
that
time.
is true. We have
Like,
a full
yes.
card today because we are going to be talking Superman. We're going to be spoiling it the entire time. We're going to be talking about the ins, the outs, and all the fucking abouts of this entire movie. So if you haven't seen this movie, don't scroll just yet because we're going to hit a couple of news stories that happened last week. We have some other breaking news from Warner Brothers. Derek, what did you scroll upon literally 5 minutes ago?
I had quite the jump scare scrolling earlier today,
Oh,
just a
no.
few minutes ago, seeing the first look at the Harry Potter series that has started filming. And we're starting to see, so far, just Harry Potter on set in costume. And I don't mean jump scare because of the child specifically, none of the kids specifically, none of the actors really, except maybe the dude playing Dumbledore. But this show looks like a parody of the franchise. It just looks wrong. It looks like one of these.
Let's bring it up for the audience visually that can see it. But go ahead.
It looks like one of those designs or like optical illusions where you know something's wrong and it's made in a way to like make you dizzy or queasy, and because you see it and you're kind of like, that's not, first of all, that's not Harry Potter, that's a child dressed as Harry Potter. But just, I don't know, it doesn't, obviously I'm biased. I just don't think we need the show, you know.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So, does this look like AI to anybody else?
Oh my god.
Why'd you jump like that?
Does he look like AI or is it just me?
I think, yeah.
I am gonna be, this is a Superman episode, so I'm gonna be Superman about it
Okay.
and say he looks great and he is having fun, I'm sure, and he's getting that money. Good for him. That's all I'll say. I'm not saying anything else.
Interesting.
I'll
Emily,
be nice.
what
Yeah.
do you think about this Uncanny Valley Harry Potter?
First off, he looks really cute. First impression, super cute, super adorable. But when you look at it a little longer, I think I see what you're saying. His eyes just look like his soul belongs to someone much older than him. There's an old soul in that boy.
Which actually might work well for Harry Potter.
Wait, I
Like
do
going
have a
on
question.
in the future.
Is his eyes the right color?
They're
'Cause I
supposed to
know
be
it's a
green.
bit, yeah, aren't they supposed to be green? Enhance.
So,
Enhance.
I can't
So,
zoom in that much.
Daniel Radcliffe couldn't wear contacts. That's why his eyes were blue the whole time.
Blue and green sometimes gets messed up in
Yeah.
photos, the way it gets rendered. Even the
Yeah.
screen that you're looking on it could be.
I am all up in this kid's nostrils. I'm so sorry.
There are so many times where I'll, like for example, Black Cat in the comics, there will be artists that draw her with blue eyes and draw her with green eyes when she has green eyes canonically. So it goes both ways. Depends on who's like drawing or who's portraying the character, I guess.
So another L for the blue-eye community. Or green-eye
And-
community.
Enough wins under their belt, but we do
Wait,
have
everybody,
some-
real quick, roll call. Who has not brown eyes on this right now? Hell yeah. Brown eye squad up here.
a winner for the
Superior.
brown eye
Yo,
community.
fuck Harry Potter for
Superior.
having green eyes.
Yeah, it's called dominant genes. I don't know. We also have some other pictures.
Oh,
This kid, Neville Longbottom, I guess.
Yep.
Amos Kitson as Dudley Dursley. And
Did you say
Ollivander. This is
Atmos?
Olive.
Dolby Atmos.
Dolby Atmos,
Surround
yeah.
His
sound.
name is Atmos.
Is
It's
there a
Amos.
T?
There's no
Is
T
there a
there.
T?
Amos. Amos.
Listen, Amos.
Or
Sorry.
Amos, yeah.
Like the
Anyways.
cookies.
Yeah, famous
Yeah.
Amos.
As Dudley Dursley, Anton Lesser as Garrick Ollivander, and Louise Brealey as Madame Hooch. Interesting.
I'm
This
just a little
all feels
worried.
AI to me.
They're so little, they're so young, like they're locking them in for life at this point.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
And it happened with like the original 3 cast where like they grew up doing Harry Potter movies and now everyone sees them just as those characters. Where I mean like Daniel Radcliffe and even
Emma Watson.
Emma Watson, they've kind of grown and done like other projects and stuff. Like I saw her as Belle, right? And I loved her as Belle. But you look at them and you'll always think like, this is Hermione, this is Harry, this is Ron.
Yeah.
Like I don't see them as anyone else, especially
Even
because
Dudley.
you grow up with them. Even Dudley, yeah,
Yeah.
all
I
of
think
them, really.
Okay, I do want to point out there is some differences on his little cape, on his little vest
Sweater.
or whatever it's called. His sweater is a different color. His tie is slightly different than the original. So they're taking some liberties. But interesting. This is fascinating to me. I hope they have this kid in witness protection because he's going to be destroyed on the
Seriously.
internet no matter
You know
what
what?
he does.
You know what? I would like to see like Zack Snyder brought in on this project.
No, why you gotta always bring up Zack Snyder?
Why?
Just give us like
Why?
a gritty
Gritty
Harry Potter. You know?
Oh
Like,
my
yo,
god.
I'm living under the
Don't
fucking
disrespect
stairs, bro.
Chris
you know,
Columbus,
like,
Harry Potter. Come on, that's the one.
It's gonna be dark in the first movie. Whereas, you know how it gradually gets darker with each movie?
Yeah.
It's just immediately dark the first movie.
they have him living
Where
under the
he
stairs.
doesn't have anywhere to go.
Oh, yeah, no.
Dang. Speaking of having nowhere to go in Zack Snyder, this is the part of the show where we actually will be talking about the spoiler section. So if you haven't seen any of Superman at all, this is your part because we are going to go to a thing called Special Viewers Unit, is where we deep dive into the show that we are talking about. So this is your warning. Now that that's out the way, Superman has a secret harem? What the fuck? Whoa!
Hashtag super shit.
Super shit.
Whoa! Okay. I think what's easiest is if we can go down the line and give our initial thoughts of the movie. Whether we liked it, whether we didn't like it, our movie-going experience. And let's start off with the amazing movie Miha. What'd you think of Superman?
Oh, wow. Thank you for letting me go first. Because no, honestly, I really, really enjoyed this movie. And to give context, I have been a DC fan for a long time. I grew up with the Batman comics, but I never was like a Superman fan. I never claimed Superman, never watched Smallville. But that has since changed. Like if this movie set out to jumpstart the new DCU and to like introduce Superman to a new wave of fans, like even though I'm someone who grew up with a lot of opportunities to get on the bandwagon, I didn't until now. Like I am a serious believer in Superman. There's a lot of points in this movie where it feels like it could have, gone astray or did too much. I never felt like this movie did too much. It gave us exactly what we needed, and it like really struck the right tone of like hope and joy. Like I was just so happy watching the movie. And most of that is the music. So I hope at one point we talk about the music because there's like James Gunn just understands that a soundtrack is really something that can solidify like an average movie from an amazing movie. And the music was so, so good in this one.
It was good. Let's go to our resident Supergirl, Stefania. What did you think?
You mentioned the music, and when the music is phenomenal, when like especially with the music and what's happening in the movie at the same time, when you like start to tear up a bit, and you're like, yeah, that got me. Because that got me at it was like the swell of the main theme at like towards the end, I think it was, and I was like, yeah, yeah, this is a good one. This is right at the top for me. But I absolutely loved the movie. I it gave you a sense of like, well, first the trailer that came out, the first trailer, it already gave you like a sense of hope, right, for Superman. But then seeing this movie, it kind of like solidified like this is who Superman is, this is who he's supposed to be, and he's that embodiment of hope and love and like joy and kindness. Because all of that, and we learned that from Superman, is punk rock, and we need more of that in our lives in this world. And I thought David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan had such great chemistry, and you don't see that a lot in movies. And that's how you know James Gunn really took his time with casting these characters and choosing who would be best to play with who. Even I don't forgot his name, but Jimmy Olsen, he was a great Jimmy Olsen. Just the whole Daily Planet cast by themselves were great. Even the guy from SNL, like even he was great. But I will say, I think my favorite character from the whole movie has to be Mr. Terrific. He did so well. I think he not like he didn't overshadow or like carry anything at all, but like when he was on the screen, he carried those scenes, right? Like he was phenomenal. And we've come a long way from him playing Darwin, and he got he really got the character and like the not the ending, but like what he deserved, because Darwin deserved so much more than what he got in X-Men First Class. If you know, you know. And
Yep.
this is a great and I'll rebound but step up from what he got. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, I also love Jimmy Olsen so much in this movie. But let's go to our resident ladies' man, Derek. What did you think of Superman?
I did not like Superman. I loved it.
Oh, I
So
thought
much
we were about
drama.
to
I need it.
kick you off
I
the
ne-
pod.
I need it. No, no, I need more of it. Like you know that meme where it's like, why are you so quiet? What are you thinking about? And it's like somebody's head and they put like a photo. That is literally me since having seen it. I've seen it twice so far. It's just so well done, modernized for like today's day, right? Because I think Man of Steel did a good job at modernizing like the world, right? Because the last Superman movie, the Brandon Routh one, I think was just too far back for it to be like modern to today's world. Man of Steel modernized the world, but not the characters, not the kind of people for like from the comics, right? This, I think, Jimmy Olsen, this is a perfect updated Jimmy Olsen for today's world, right? Lois Lane, I think, was ahead of her time in the 70s in terms of like a female character, so she probably is the same more or less. But Clark, right, where he's still kind of a dork, still kind of a nerd, right? But he's modernized for today's day, for like an adult man, just with geeky interests, or kind of not like this. It's hard because he's so attractive as a person that like to make him nerdy was kind of hard. I don't know. The point is, I'm rambling here because I have so many thoughts when it comes to this movie. All in all, I enjoyed it so much. I cried multiple times throughout it. The score is one thing, but the idea of what is punk rock and that song at the end, and with the footage, crypto. I'm just gonna list things, okay, and then you guys will nod, okay? Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, Hot Girl, Benjamin Netanyahu. I mean, the leader of Moravia. The fate that he meets, and that whole conflict was perfect. Nicholas Holt being at the top of his game as like Kendrick Lamar level hater, with his own like version of like Doge helping him enthusiastically. Like it did this thing where it's so spot on to today's world, but it's still a fantasy movie, like a superhero movie. That somehow, even though like it's a shit show of a planet, you still leave feeling hopeful and and happy. And I think that's what a good movie does, is it helps you, it makes you feel things, but a movie that can have you feeling hopeful and joy like that, even though the themes within it are a little bit darker and heavier. I think that's what makes it a great movie, in my opinion.
You're muted.
It was a dramatic
Anyways.
pause. Dramatic
Yeah,
pause. 'Cause he's
It
about
was
to
a
go off.
dramatic pause. I think this movie is excellent, and it looks like the box office agrees with me because it has $125 million opening, which is huge, especially for DC. It's opened similarly to The Batman, which we'll talk about later, and other James Gunn products. And it looks like, I think if we had to guess, I would say this movie is probably going to make over $600 million if I had to guess. But Superman, or not Superman, Fantastic Four is right around the corner. So we'll see about that. But people seem to like this movie a lot, especially online, which is very surprising. Um, when we talk about this movie, let's go through the characters instead of like a beat by beat of the entire movie. So let's start off with the Big Blue himself, Superman, Clark Kent. Did we like this interpretation of David Corenswet's Superman, or were we wishing for Henry Cavill back?
Ooh,
I
that
don't
is
even think
a
we
good
need
question.
to answer this. We can just go to the
Yeah.
next question.
Yeah, that's an obvious
Really?
answer.
I like
think
that.
so.
I
If
think
it's
it's a
so
good
obvious,
question,
then
though.
answer it.
Because Henry Cavill, I think in real life is more like Superman-like than his movie counterparts. Like
Disagree. Disagree.
Then the
I haven't
Man's
seen-
evil.
I haven't seen all
I
of it.
am
I'm not
not a
saying
fan
he's a
of
bad
Henry.
Superman. I'm just saying he's a very likable, like, big geeky guy. Like
Right.
Henry Cavill, no one hates Henry Cavill, but
I hate Henry
David
Cavill.
Corenswet was so charming, and it was so much fun watching him on the screen. Like the movie, it's kind of funny when we take a step back because I think I've seen a couple like comments on this to the effect of like Superman is basically like, what if, now hear me out, a guy was good? What if we had good intentions and good motivations, and that's what he was, and he was able to play that off in a way that felt so sincere. It didn't feel like he was trying to put on a show or trying to like win somebody over. Like he's just naturally very charming, and he really did so well with that. Especially, I love that Crypto was kind of like an ass dog, like just not listening to anything. I love that he was constantly annoying Superman, and that was like a very low stakes way of like constantly annoying your superhero and putting him in a place where you can empathize with him, but he still didn't lose his shit. He still was kind. And then when you find out it wasn't even his dog, you're like, oh my gosh, that is like the most relatable scenario where you're like dog sitting someone else's dog that does not listen to you, but he was still constantly just looking out for the dog, going out
Yeah.
of his way to save the dog because he's alone and scared.
Yeah. He literally lost his shit. The only time he lost his shit with the dog was when he went to Luthor's office and like screamed at him asking where the dog was. That's the only time.
Yeah. The
Only
appropriate
time
time.
he raised his voice.
The appropriate
That's
time.
very
Yeah. I would
interesting.
do the same thing. Oh, I saw this meme where it's like when I find out there's a dog at my friend's house, or when I like go to my friend's house and there's a dog.
Introverts
was
at the
that scene.
function.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's the dog?
Yeah. Got John
I-
Wick real fast.
I do think it's interesting how I guess the online reaction is mostly positive to David Corenswet's Superman and his actions throughout the movie. But then there's this weird, I don't know if you guys seen like this right wing hate towards this movie.
Yes.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you guys also
Oh,
seen this?
yeah.
I was like, I was sat through the movie. I'm like, why would anyone be mad about Superman saving people? He's going out of his way to save people. He's saving squirrels. Does the right wing hate squirrels? Derek,
Yeah.
have you also seen this, or is it just me? Because I feel as though people are like a strong contingent of haters is like
Yeah.
a
This
very
movie-
vocal minority. You know?
This movie has shown a light on something that like I've seen a sentiment that I've seen like kind of spread around about right-wing politics and especially the extremists, where it's like if you really did have good intentions for the country, for other people, for whatever, if you really did have these great intentions, why the cruelty, right? Why are you dickheads about trans rights? Why are you rejoicing that immigrant families are being torn apart and all this kind of stuff, right? So this movie, I think, has kind of reiterated that, where it's like, you guys are mad that he's a kind person? Like, you're mad that he saved lives, that he's not focused on destroying buildings and all this other shit. Like, you're focused on the complete opposite of what Superman should be. So yeah, I've seen the hate, and I've even gone as far as seeing some people where they'll identify as conservative, but then they liked the movie. So it's kind of like,
And that's a
you're
conflict for
so-
them.
Yeah.
no, it's not even a conflict. It's not even a conflict. They'll leave the movie and they'll be like, I loved it. I don't think it's as political as people have made it out to seem. Or an example, something happened to me directly was like, I talked about how enthusiastic Lex Luthor's minions were at helping him, right? Like, they were
That
like,
was
yeah,
interesting to me too. I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, you found like over 24 people that hate Superman as much as you.
I know.
yeah.
They gotta
Yeah.
have a 401k.
Yo,
They gotta
that
have
check
the
must be
benefit.
nice.
exactly.
What is the
Um,
price for you
It's
to
very
hate
Wolf
Superman?
of Wall Street in there. You know
So-
what I mean?
Yeah.
How
I was
much money
talking
per
about-
year? Hold on, I want to ask. How much money per year would it take to join Lex
hate
Luthor's tech group, like the haters? How much money per year?
I would join for like,
You're gonna put
I
a
would
price
join.
on your.
No,
Yes,
hold on.
There
hold
is
on.
a price, but
No, listen, I'm not a Boy Scout. Okay, I'm Batman. So I would pull a
$2.
Kingdom Come style Batman approach, where I'd get hired and then I would just be plotting the downfall of the organization all along, or until I got fired, and just cash that check in the meantime.
And that no, you would die. Fired means die.
Yeah.
You'd be in the Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
you know,
Stefania, what's the price for you to hate Superman?
No price, because I will never hate Superman.
Get out! Get out! All right, Emily. I know those morals have a price.
A price? No, I don't
What's the
know. Like, it's
number?
not even. It's not even fun. Like, what? Like, their like little outfits and the back rubs in the office. I'm not into it. I'm not into the culture at Luthor Core. So
When you get a cool outfit, you have good insurance. You have not good hours. He will
Not good
call you
hours,
in the
though.
middle of the night to make some kryptonite, probably.
right, I'm gonna be picking up pencils off the ground every time he has a little fit. Like, I don't know.
You have
It'd be
good
a
health
pretty steep
insurance.
price. Good health insurance. Who owns the health insurance
Oh,
in
Luthor
Metropolis.
that's how you know. That's how you know it's fiction. Okay.
Oh,
Good health
God.
insurance.
So funny. You know what's one of the things that annoyed me with comments from this movie is people saying, why do we gotta keep making superhero movies political? Why can't they just be superhero movies? And I'm gonna, and you should know
Go
this
off.
too. I'm gonna hold your hand, your tiny little hand when I say this. Comics have always been political. Okay, it's just the time, the era that it came out, and things that were going on, and they embodied them in the comics, as like an escapism kind of thing, but also like to make you aware of what's going on in the real world, and
Preach.
kind of like a kid fashion, like. How can we explain this to like a third grader or like, you know, someone who's young? They do that in the comics where like we're gonna shove what's happening in the real world into the comics, but give you cartoons so you can understand it better and easier that way. So yeah, that's my little thing.
I
That's
will
100%, and it's
question-
like-
yeah.
That.
Go ahead,
Where do you
Emily.
think supervillains came from? Where do you think they came from? Where did the idea of how these supervillains rule and proceed over the people? It comes from real life.
Yeah.
So it's always so mind blowing to me that people like think that it took a turn. And something I think is fun to bring up right now in the light of this discussion is like I was cackling all weekend because I went in did a little deep dive of James Gunn's history, right? Because I was like, wait, at one point he was canceled. What happened? He got fired from Disney. and all that. I was like, wait, let me remind myself before I like go off on how much I love this movie about where this man came from. And so, reminding us all that James Gunn was fired from Marvel and Disney. Correct me if I'm wrong at any point, but here's like the Cliff Notes version because of his old tweets that were dredged up. Then they were like not great, very wrong, understandably why he was canceled. However, those were from a long time ago, and he had since apologized and since course corrected. But someone still found them and put them on. And the person that found them and put them on was like a right-wing talking head. Like this person who was like a racist conservative person who like went after James Gunn because they didn't like what he was doing with his movies. So they got him fired. So in a way you can,
Real
and
quick,
that's
real
when,
quick.
oh, go ahead.
In 2017, he became vocal about Trump, and not even extremely vocal. He was just like, we have an incompetent president, something like that. So I think that's what triggered them to be like, let's cancel this guy. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. So they go off on this they have those monkeys, rage farming, trying to get James Gunn fired, essentially. He gets fired from Disney, Marvel. He understands why. And because he's like, yeah, those are terrible things. I still think they're terrible, even though I've course corrected. I understand why I'm being fired. But in that time, Peter Safran started like circulating the idea. His producer for Superman was like, hey, we should make a Superman with James Gunn, just putting it out there. And that's when the seed was first planted that James Gunn can make a Superman movie. So it was in the interim between him getting fired and getting brought back on to finish Guardians of the Galaxy 3 that the idea for a James Gunn Superman started to matriculate. And it's like, oh, the right-wing people who are mad that we have this version of Superman now, it's actually their fault, or they caused it. They caused it. They're the ones who put James Gunn in the position to make a new Superman.
Interesting.
And here we are.
I do question if this Superman movie is political. And here's why. I have a question. Does this movie have a statement about the current times, or does it just depict them? Because I feel like it does not give any real leaning towards any like certain politics. I think it mimics things really well, and then it just kind of lets it hang out there. If you don't know what we're talking about, this is a spoiler discussion, but in this movie, it centers around the conflict between two fictional countries. One is trying to invade the other, and Superman stops it before the events of this movie, and then the movie continues. Right? I see a lot of people comparing this to Israel and Palestine, and I hesitate to make that comparison. I hesitate to like really give the movie that credit, because the people of those are kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Almost paper cutouts of fictional countries. You know what I mean? They're like, how do I say this? I'm trying
They're
to
a little flat, maybe. Like there's not a lot
Yes,
to
they're
them.
very flat. So flat to the movie's not benefit, but like to the movie's point of like, we're not choosing a side. This could be Benjamin Netanyahu if you like squint really closely. You know what I mean? And if anything, I think it's more closer to Russia and Ukraine. If anything, that's like, I'm assuming when the time this
That's when it was
movie is
being
being
written.
written and stuff like that, and which is perfectly fine. James Gunn is more than open to like put current events in his movie. If you're gonna say something, at least say something, because there's the point, then there's the counterpoint, and then there's the whole super harem stuff that just derails the entire conversation. You know what I mean? Does anybody else get that vibe that this is this Superman political is what I'm asking.
I mean,
think
that's like in
it's-
the background. Like, it's not really like the main part of the story, right? It's more of like a subcategory of the story. Like, this is the reason why this is the main story. It's not really the main story itself. But it was more like a morale thing going on with Superman throughout the whole movie. It's like the morale of doing this, doing this, and the consequences from doing these actions. But I wouldn't say like their conflict, the two countries, was really the main part of the story. there wasn't really like a message there, whereas the message was more of like
Right.
Superman's conflict and his actions and what those actions can create.
It's
Yeah.
political the same way that Ironheart is political. The same way that choosing to go with a female Silver Surfer is political. Choosing like the same pocket dimension monkeys complaining about Superman are the same ones that complain about politics in superhero media, and what they're referring to is literally just like a person of color existing in the show. Or in Ironheart, it's like the drag queen is in the show, and it's like that's not political. That character just being there isn't a political statement. People like that exist in real life. They're just depicting that, and they're choosing to include it. That's not a political thing. Superman is political in that sense, where it's like just depicting something that is very realistic to today's time, but also choosing to do what's right over what is the political strategic thing to do is unfortunately to some degree a political statement in today's day as well. Because if we had done that with certain conflicts in the Middle East, in Russia and Ukraine, in Africa even, right? We choose not to get involved, or we choose to support certain sides based off of like political convenience and strategy, not based off of what's right, not based off of morality. So it is kind of saying something, but it's not saying specifically Israel and Gaza, right? It's not saying specifically
Right.
Ukraine and Russia. It just so happens that that shit happens in real life.
I
Speak.
100% agree with Derek. I was gonna say, I think the most political thing that this movie says, or it's the conversation between Lois and Superman when he's not
Best
Clark
scene
Kent,
in the
he's being
movie.
interviewed as Superman, and he says people were going to die. That's the end of conversation for him. There is
Hmm.
no like, there's nothing else to consider about the proper channels, going to the right leaders, discussing this and that. He was like, there was an immediate threat to people, and I needed to stop that because Superman is like utilitarianism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or he's an ethicist. Like it's all about making sure the most people are saved. And so as much as this movie focuses on like Superman kicking ass, it focuses on him saving people. And that's his whole thing. And I love that that felt the most politically charged because everyone has all these discussions like Derek is saying whether or not we should do this or that or intervene. He's like people were going to die. I needed to do something about it.
Speaking of ass kicking, I think we should talk about the world's biggest hater, Lex Luthor. What did you guys think of Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor?
I loved it. I think he is what um, I think Elon Musk thinks he is Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor, but he is really Nicholas Holt, Lex Luthor, where it's and it's an amalgamation of like Trump slash Elon. But
I think that's
um,
giving him too much credit.
oh yeah,
Nicholas Hoult
absolutely,
had a plan. He
absolutely.
was good at his inventions to some degree. You
That's true.
know?
That's true. It is from a what is it? From a skill level perspective. Yeah, that's giving him way too much credit. But from a like I am the savior of the universe, right? Let's go colonize Mars and all this shit, right? That is 100% Nicholas Holt, right? Like it is my burden to eradicate the world of metahumans, particularly this one woke hero that is being kind to everybody and yada yada yada. And I don't know if you noticed, but his mug with the scene about the dog, it said Space Lex on it.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so it's like so it says
Oh.
like Luthor Corp in the top, right? For the record, this is a Starbucks mug that was purchased years ago, right? We don't support Starbucks anymore. But it says Luthor Corp up top, right? And then on the bottom it says Space Lex, right? But it's kind of like off to the side. You don't notice. It's a blink if you miss it moment, blink and you miss it moment. So yeah, I liked him. I went on a rant there, but I think he was great. I think he's probably the best Lex Luthor, aside from
Wow. Number one?
um, my favorite though. My personal favorite is Michael Rosenbaum, but that's because you grow with that character and you sympathize with him and you see him, with his dad and the whole dynamic, and he's trying to be a friend to Clark, but not really, but he is, and there's like a lot more to connect over from what was it, like 11 seasons of Smallville.
Hmm.
So that he's still my favorite, but I think Nicholas Hoult is a very close number two.
Interesting. Okay. That's
Yeah.
very high praise for
Yeah.
Nicholas Holt. Emily, what did you think?
Oh, I loved him. Like Nicholas Holt is incredible. Like he's a shapeshifter, man. Like the way he's able to just be in these characters sometimes like I legitimately forget that that's Nicholas Holt in that role in other roles because I'm like, "Oh, he's that character." And the way that this story depicts him as just such a hater, like this is such a good time to be a hater. Like he is I love that it's yes, he's a hater. And the setup between like the war in Moravia and this Ultraman debacle is like so clean that when the switch comes and he admits like I didn't manufacture this battle so I can start this war. I manufactured that war so I can kill you because I hate you because you have such a strong purpose in what you do and I don't have a purpose. My purpose is hating you. And that idea of like that characterization of Lex Luthor of like, yeah, he's a hater, but it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hit really deep as to why he's a hater. It's because his entire identity is built around hatred. And that final like interaction between him and Superman is like, I am human. I get out of, bed every day and put one foot in front of the other and try my best. Makes Lex Luthor inhuman. The fact that he doesn't do those things. He's not trying to be a better guy. He's only on this earth to hate. And I love that like putting them next to each other in that way and like just showing just how much Lex Luthor has lost his own humanity in his fight to kill Superman.
Ugh, what a guy. Speaking of haters, Stefania, what'd you think?
It's always
Hey,
something.
My
It's al-
transitions are fire today,
They
guys.
are,
I'm
they
on a
are.
roll.
Um, so Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor made me realize that I I have potential to be a very big hater because they're like I have the potential. It's up there. I
Yeah.
just gotta reach it if I
Yeah.
ever do.
I'm
But
not hating
like
enough.
no, I'm not hating enough, right?
Yeah.
Like I gotta pick somebody and just like immediately go to Nicholas Holt hater kind of level. But I'm not gonna do that. There's nobody that I hate. Um, but I really did enjoy his version of Lex Luthor. I actually forgot that this dude is British. The whole time I was like, yeah, like this is fantastic acting. The accent, like not accent, but like he's just doing a great job. And then I saw interviews after and I was like, oh shit, I forgot he was British. Like that's actually a crazy thing where British actors are so good at doing American accents. That's why they get casted as American actors a lot. That you just forget that they are not from America. Um, and just like the way he was portraying Lex Luthor, and you could tell he put a lot into this character. You could tell that he did a lot of research, and just tried to embody. It's almost like he did like method acting, but I know he didn't. But it's like this dude probably did some method acting for sure. But like that's just how good it was. It just felt real to me, and that I saw this TikTok. I don't know if you guys want to show it, but like maybe I'll send it to you guys. But somebody said that Lex Luthor got like thrown the same way Spencer Shea does in iCarly. And it was the funniest thing. I have to show you guys. I should send it to you guys. It was so funny because like it's literally the exact shot and frame and the way he like got thrown back too. A part of me is like James Gunn definitely saw this and was like, yeah, we gotta
Watch iCarly.
yeah.
All right,
I'll send
iCarly
it to you
deep
guys
cut.
after. Yep. Side note, the what's his name? The guy who plays Spencer Shea. He has such great potential to be like a great comedic actor, and I feel like he needs that like push for him to do. Anyway, that's another thing. But yeah, I really did enjoy Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. It made me uh not like a favorite, but like I low-key really liked this villain. Like I love villains in general, but I think Lex Luthor in this Superman movie made me love this villain. He was a very good villain for
It
someone that
starts
doesn't have any
off
powers.
Yeah.
it starts off very like Loki, right? Where I'm
Yeah.
burdened with glorious purpose, right? Like it's his mission, right? But then it ends up almost being just kind of like Hela,
Yeah.
where she's just fucking pissed off and she's
Yeah.
mad,
Yeah.
and this is her mission for the sake of just doing it and being a hater like that. So I think that's what kind of landed it is they took those like villain tropes where it's just
Yeah.
like they're villainous cause for the love of the game, not because
Mhm.
of actually wanting to like achieve something.
Yeah. It's like those classic villains where like the villains are just people that hated the hero or just hated these people or something like that. It's a classic villain trope. And nowadays it gets like a little too complicated with like why they're the villain and to give them like such a big backstory. And sometimes backstory is good, but like, guys, let's just have a villain that just hates this guy or just
Not,
hates
yeah. Not
people.
every villain has to have a point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I just hate you guys so much that I want to get rid of you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's my purpose in life.
I
Hey,
also
I do.
sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Emily. You're
Oh
a
no,
guest.
just one last thing for Nicholas Holt's performance. The way he was like screaming out the like different hits to take against Superman when he was going 1A, 1A, 1A.
1A.
The steak sauce.
Like
Did
that
you
is
guys see like a
so
video?
that is such a silly like setup. Like imagine you seeing this on the paper, you're like, that sounds silly. Like I'm
Yeah.
just screaming out instructions and someone else is doing the hits. Like that
Yeah.
doesn't have power. What the power comes from Nicholas Holt and the way that he's just going at it and like
Yeah.
looks so feral in that moment. Like it was so cool.
And like the notes, he was writing them down too and showing them as he was talking to Superman.
That's not
I
that's
thought
not
that was really
scary.
clever.
But
No,
he made it scary.
he made it scary, and like I'm sure in that room with the actors in that room when he was doing that scene and screaming, I'm sure they felt a little something too. Like I would. Like that's crazy. But he said when he was screaming 1A, and you know the steak sauce. That's like
A1.
one.
That's A1.
Or A1. Well, somebody was like I forgot what it was. TikTok has been going on like crazy with Superman, but it was like when the waiter asked me what sauce I want for my steak or something like that. And it was that scene. I was dying.
I'm not sure to what extent this was planned, but this movie kind of perfectly sets up Lex eventually getting in his suit, right? Like his mech suit,
Oh, I have a whole different view of Lex.
you know.
Because
But
I don't think he's ever going to put the suit on. I think he's
he might not
joining
ever,
the Suicide
right?
Squad. He's going
Right.
straight to the Suicide Squad. That's where I think he's going to go. Because remember, they were like, send this guy to
Bellevue,
Bill
yeah.
Reeve. And I was
Bellevue,
like,
yeah.
oh, okay. There you go, James Gunn. Lex Luthor on the Suicide Squad. That's a movie I would want to see. I do want to point. I love Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, but I do want to point out the one thing in this movie that rubbed me wrong. I guess.
Oh.
What? It's not that bad, guys.
don't
I
know, I
love
don't
the movie, but it concerns his entire plan. Two things. One, I love this movie up until the moments where James Gunn kind of leaks out of the script, and I think it's very funny that James Gunn wrote a Superman movie where Superman gets canceled by online Twitter trolls. I was like, okay, James, all right, I see what you're doing. But
yeah.
also, I do think that it's interesting because, like, the whole super harem part of this caught me off guard. I don't hate it because it's not the first time like Kryptonians have been evil. It's not the first time Lex Luthor has broken into the Fortress of Solitude. But what did we think of this major change to the Superman canon? Because I'm not sure how I feel about it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad that, both of Superman's parents had a chance to talk because original Marlon Brando 1978, he just monologued for 3 minutes. Mom didn't get a
she
word
never said
in.
anything. Wow,
I was
that's
like-
right. I didn't realize that.
while saying Krypton instead of Krypton.
Yeah, the
Oh
Krypton
yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
cashing
What
a
the heck?
check, man.
Marlon. I love the 78 version, by the way, but yeah, that was just so funny. I was like, he's not going to let her say a word. I think it's a little ridiculous, but I think that's the point. I don't know. I'm like trying to figure out where I've seen the movie twice now, but I'm still like, going back and forth with like what they chose to pull from pop culture or like our climate right now And the harem thing, I think, is an interesting choice. Like, it's not a threatening way. It's not a threat to life, but it's like a threat to their way of life. Like, it's a threat
Right.
on American values. And I think that's a very funny, like, way to see how people can get so upset about the harem. It seems like it's rooted in, like, some Islamophobia. And
True.
I'm curious about that angle, but it's like, what it's not like you got to rule over them and like kill people. It was like you have to rule over them and take wives. And
True.
like that's
Yeah.
the thing that people were mad at.
Yeah.
Because I saw it the first time and I was like, maybe it's like a mistranslation or a cultural thing of like, maybe his mom said like, you're gonna live through 1,000 years, so like have like make sure that people love you or something like that. Maybe I
Yeah.
misheard it. I saw it the second time. Nah, Jor-El straight up says, kill anyone in your way, rule them, like rule over them. I was like, damn, we were caught up on the harem shit when
Yeah.
Jor-El was literally saying like rule them with an iron fist.
Who
I was like,
doesn't
okay.
obey or something. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
the harem thing, because I have seen some of the Pocket Dimension monkeys bring up the like similarities between like, oh, it's so weird that James Gunn always makes it sexual and this and that, but that was the lesser part of it, in my opinion. The harem,
Yeah,
specifically harem, was like Lex Luthor spinning it,
there's
and it
that
took
is
off,
true.
and Netanyahu spinning it and calling it a harem. They didn't say
But
that,
I saw it again. I thought that exact same way, Derek. And
right?
then I saw it again, and literally his mom says,
Yeah,
"Make sure you take multiple wives and
wives, yeah,
spread your seed." I was like,
the Kryptonian seed,
"Whoa!"
yeah. The it is definitely like the Kryptonians, or at least to some degree, that is a real video, and it's not okay, right?
Nah,
Um,
AI.
but I think right, exactly. But I think the moral of the story by the end of the movie is like they're basically like pitching white replacement theory, right? Where it's like, oh, they're
Right.
trying to replace us, people, black people, Latinos, Islam, like they're just trying to replace white people. And that's the fear that the bad guys prey on to manipulate the public against Superman. I think that's the gist of it. I do think that there is going to be more to that story regarding Jor-El and Lara. Whether it's like they were forced into making that message by somebody, or
Mm.
like, I don't know, something. Who knows?
You thought they were forced to make that message?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's how they bring in Zod. You know,
I heard a theory that what if Jor-El is Zod?
or that exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, they'll have
Creepy.
Kara be like, that's not Jor-El, that's not your dad.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait a
shoot.
minute. Pause. Why didn't Clark Kent ask his cousin to clarify the message of his parents?
I thought about that. She
Yeah.
wasn't there. She wasn't there for the events of the movie.
Yeah,
And then
that's fine. I get that. But like maybe
but
a
Hey,
space
stay a
phone call?
second.
You can't call your cousin? Be like,
Yeah.
listen.
But then
Like,
I liked that by the end of the movie though, like it doesn't matter. That's not my parents. I don't give a fuck anymore. You know
Well,
what I
I
mean? Like
also
those aren't
think
my parents.
I think that this movie was also, I love how much journalism was a core part of it because it's not just about like the physical battles, the big war, impending doom happening. It's like also, it's important the story that we're telling. And the story that we're telling is being told through the story of like Lois Lane and Daily Planet. Like they have to get the story out there. So it's not just that like Superman comes apart in three different ways physically, like, and his public identity and then his sense of self. Like he's getting attacked all like it's like a coming of age again kind of story.
Mhm.
And like the Daily Planet trying to take down Lex Luthor by showing his true intentions and what he's about kind of goes along with this message that, Superman's biological parents gave him. It's like, what is the message? What does it say about who you are and what you're doing here? Also, how does the public receive you? And I think that was such an important part of it too. It's like not just about what you're doing, it's also important how people are going to perceive what you're doing. And so even though Superman was a guy who gave nobody any reason to believe that he had any ill intentions, you saw how quickly people started throwing their cans of food at his head once they
wild.
found
What a
out. I know.
waste.
What a wait. Also, in what economy? What's Metropolis like? They're just throwing out cans of
Oh
food?
no, food?
Excuse me?
Dang. Speaking about what Superman is doing, let's talk about the love interest in this movie, Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. She might be my favorite Lois Lane ever.
Mhm.
Pitch perfect. Honestly, that scene, interview with Superman, mainly it's because the old film is so like I just watched it, and so this echoing that in such a beautiful modern way, I was like, I'm sold. I'm sold. I need 10 more films of Lois Lane and Clark. It was so beautiful. What do you guys think of Lois Lane?
I love Rachel Brosnahan. Okay, I loved The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. That's where it
Great
solidified
show.
my liking of her. Um, and she's just like, she's funny, right? But she can take on these serious roles and embody them perfectly. And I thought her performance, her asking those questions to Superman, not Clark Kent, Superman, um, that is like the embodiment of journalism. You have to ask the hard questions. You
Mhm.
have to ask these because nobody else is asking them, and she's the one that's doing it. That's why she's such a great reporter. That's why she is the way she is, and that's why she can get through people. Um, and she works hard for it, which is great for her. I literally love Lois Lane, and I love Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane even more. Um, so for her to come on and play this character, I thought it was when I first saw the cast, I was like, this is such a perfect casting. Not only with like how they looked, but the actors that they chose to play these parts. Because I knew that Rachel was going to kill it as Lois Lane. And I'm so excited to see her in future movies and future projects because I know this is not the extent that we will see of her. We're going to see so much more.
She even had the purple sweater. She loves like man ripped from the comic book pages. Derek, what
Yes.
did you think?
No, she was perfect. I think she was. I love that she was a reporter, a journalist first, than before anything else. Right, almost to like a detriment to herself. You know, where it's like they get in a fight after that interview, and she's like, "I knew this wouldn't work," type stuff. Um, so I like that aspect of her character. It's not just like she's somebody to save. Sure, she needs to have Mr. Terrific around because she literally is, but because she's doing journalism
Yeah.
slash helping Clark, right? It's not because she's in danger and she needs to be saved and and then she dies and Superman has to turn back time to save her. It's not anything like that. It's very much like two separate storylines happening with the Daily Planet crew and Superman, and then sometimes they converge, sometimes they don't. But I think it helps land the point. Every single person in the story has the potential of being a hero.
Hmm.
Journalist, hold on, I might cry. The little kids with the fucking flag, like,
Oh my gosh.
like that shit got me so hard. Even the Justice Gang being inspired by Superman, because to me, before they intervened in the war, they were not heroes. They were corporate influencers being paid to do good stuff. It wasn't until the very end that they actually put that aside and became heroes when they intervened in the war. So I think that's another message in the movie where it's like anybody can be a hero. It's just how can they do that good stuff, right? How do you do good? For Lois, I think it was the journalism, and that was very clear. And another way that they modernized the story, where it's like she's a journalist, she's a hero in her own right. She's not just his girlfriend.
Yeah.
In fact, she didn't want to be his girlfriend for half the movie.
She was. She was.
Yeah.
I love the detail that she was about to break up with him
Yeah.
before that. She says to Mr. Terrific when she's getting into the tea crowd for the first time, she was like, I don't know how to feel about him. I was about to break up with him, and then he said, I love you.
So relatable.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who
Yeah.
would break
So
up with Superman?
exactly, because
Yeah.
and I love that it's showing that she sees him as an equal. She does not like, at his feet, like over
Hmm.
glorifying him. And same
Yeah.
for her. Like I feel like there's this mutual respect that they both had, especially in that interview portion of the movie, which was just fantastic. It's like 12 minutes, which is like a good chunk of the movie because the movie is really tight.
Yeah.
So
I
good
love their
though.
back and forth. Rachel Brosnahan. She also was in a short film with that made by Ari Aster called Basically. It's really good. She has a lot of monologues. It's fantastic. If you're a fan, it's on YouTube. I think you can find it. Um, but she's just so good at like having the cadence of a reporter, someone who's like digging into him and is speaking really fast. And I just like the characterization of their relationship. It was really powerful. And speaking of like those parallels between the original movie and this one, like she the first time she gets saved by Superman in the first movie is she's falling off of a helicopter from the rooftop of the Daily Planet. And in this movie, she's flying the T-Craft off of the rooftop of the Daily Planet. And this woman, it took me the second time of watching it to realize she's dictating the article that gets posted about Lex Luthor while she's flying them around. Like, she is flying an aircraft and, you know, speaking out her article that's exposing Lex Luthor. I thought that was so badass. I was like,
Get you a
damn,
woman who could do both.
I
she's
love
doing both.
I love that when they're in the hot cocoa scene where he's like, I'm gonna go turn myself in, and then she goes, it's just a dog, right? And then he goes, yeah, he's not even a good one, but he's probably alone and scared. I love that she hugs him. She doesn't kiss him. It's not this like romantic, oh, love interest moment. It's just a hug. And I feel like that's almost like that the audience in that moment as well, where it's like, I love Superman so fucking much, and like I wouldn't kiss Superman, but I would hug the shit out of Superman. And I love that they made that choice to have them hug instead of kiss, and then just fucking completely destroy us. Where after the hug, he says "I love you" to her, and then flies off, and you're like, Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
Like that's my favorite scene in the movie by far. That one moment.
And it shows the whole range of their relationship with each other. I love that because like they have, they get really heated in that interview because she's probing some really, weak spots for Superman, some things he probably doesn't ready to talk about. But just before that, they're making out and he's toasting her some bread on the kitchen counter. And I'm like, yes, give us something sexy. I think like a lot of movies are so afraid to be sexy, like at all. They just steer away
Chemistry
from it.
was off the charts.
The chemistry here is
Yeah.
just crazy. And
And-
I
and
love
You
just
didn't
to-
think that they were with people, you'd think that they would be perfect for each other, Like that's how good the chemistry was.
And look, I hate to be that guy, and I hate to bring back the comparison, right? But that scene making her breakfast for dinner and being like a boyfriend, right? That all lands so much better than just fucking being like, oh, we're both sad, but I'm gonna get in the bathtub with you and all the water's gonna spill out like they do in Man of Steel or whatever
So
it was.
inefficient.
Or
Their
right,
floors
like,
are ruined. Thanks a lot, Superman.
just aside from that, that moment it felt like something where it's like, oh, we have to make them a couple. Do this cute thing, as opposed to like, let me actually write a scene where you see their dynamic as people that are dating. So that was kind of cool.
Speaking of the ladies loving something, let's talk about the Justice Gang and Guy Gardner's haircut specifically.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say Jimmy Olsen.
Oh, okay.
Ladies,
Sorry.
man.
I forgot this real start of the show. Jimmy Olsen. What did we think about him in the Daily Planet? Because I thought these were pitch perfect cartoon characters. One of my favorite parts about this movie is that it brings back the superhero supporting cast. We have to stop cutting the supporting cast superheroes. We have to stop. We have to stop pretending like we don't need Uncle Ben. We have to stop pretending like we don't need J. Jonah Jameson. You know what I mean? And like all the little random Superman characters, like I didn't think I would get Steve Lombardi in a Superhand movie. Like what the heck? Like seriously? And we have Cat Grant too. Like all like not that they need to be important, but they just fill out the world so beautifully. Especially like people like Perry White. And the casting is so good that as soon as you see him with that cigar, you're like, I don't need to know anything else. I don't need a backstory. That's Perry White. Like
Yeah.
easy peasy. But Jimmy Olsen, ladies man, was not on my 2025 bingo card. And why was he so mean to Eve? Because she seemed really nice.
She
This
just wanted
Tessmacher.
somebody, especially because she was with Luther and Luther gave her no attention at all. She just wanted somebody to give her the attention. And I feel like at the end of the
Interesting taste in
movie,
men.
at the end of the movie, I think like they hung out that weekend, right? And
Mhm.
maybe something changed in Jimmy. Maybe he like is kind of into her now.
Oh, they're
Um,
getting married, and Superman's the best man. Just wait, in
I'm
Superman 2,
so
that's gonna
excited.
be the opening. That's
Yup.
what's gonna happen.
But I loved I forgot the name of the actor, but I loved Jimmy Olsen in this movie. Um, it's funny because I just saw an interview yesterday of the actor, and someone asked him about the photo on his desk with the two girls.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I don't know what that was for. They just said we just did a whole photo shoot with these girls. I don't know who they're supposed to be, but they're it's just like on my desk, and yeah, you see it in the background a little bit or whatever, but that's pretty much it. There's no backstory behind it. And I'm
Oh
like, you
my
know what?
gosh.
That makes so much sense to what James Gunn would want for Jimmy Olsen, and then like not acknowledge it at all, right? We just know that he's like a ladies' man, apparently. Um, but
Two women on his desk. They gotta
yeah,
be his family. Like,
I don't know. I don't
does
know. It
Jimmy
could be
Olsen have
friends.
sisters? Is
Maybe
that
it's
why
just
he's
We
way
so
hope
good with
out.
so.
women?
Yeah, but like I don't know why he would display it on his desk unless it was like family, whatever. But I will say that Jimmy Olsen and Eve are low key the real superheroes of this movie, or at least like, because like without them, we would not have gotten the exposure of Luthor, right? Without
Power of
Eve,
journalism.
she is a lot more brain than a lot of people thought. Because she was smart taking those selfies, and because she no, it's like that. It's the dumb blonde trope. Like you,
Mhm.
because they're blonde, you think they're dumb, right? But actually, she was smart as hell. She was taking
Just covering her
selfies.
ass.
She was covering her ass. Yeah, she was taking these selfies in front of the documents and like maps, and basically like trying to grab shit on Luthor for the future to try and destroy him. And Jimmy, I don't know where the hell he met Eve, how they met, or whatever, but that was his source. I had a feeling that that was his source when he said it, mentioned it like earlier in the movie. And so when the final surprise like reveal came, I was like, I freaking knew it. But I thought they were heroes in themselves, both of them. Even when Eve was like trapped in the box, I felt so bad for her. I was so like sad for her. I was like, she deserves so much more. And it really hurt me when Luthor was like raging, and then he like knocks the pencils and he throws a pencil right at her, or like whatever. He threw something at her. And like she yelped. I was like, this girl.
That
This
was
girl.
sad.
You
That
know,
was I hated that so much.
we can't be Superman in our real lives, but some of us can be Eve Tessmacher. So
Yes.
Grimes, I know you have something on Elon. I know
Melania,
you
please.
have. I know
Literally.
you have some dirt. Like,
Yup.
come on, there has to be something. Take
Not
some
just
selfies.
Grimes, not just Grimes, but like all 7 of the baby mamas, right? Like,
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, they could be
Yeah.
national heroes.
You think James Gunn did that on purpose? Like kind of send a
They
message out there?
Mobilize them.
The mobilize.
please.
I wish that was the case. I do feel James Olsen was a little bit mean calling her mutant toes
I
in his phone.
know.
But like I've done that to people where like I don't remember their real name and called them like something mean or something like that, or like a defining feature. But damn, mutant toes?
That's
Damn, you
can't-
can look at other places, Jimmy, besides her toes. Like
I can't
dang.
prove it. I can't prove it, but I don't think she has mutant toes, right? I just think
Oh,
Jimmy
no.
Olsen's arc is very much like, what if Superman was just a little imperfect, specifically with the ladies, and that's kind of like his, because by the end of it, he's kind of like, you see him do the little smile while he's hugging Eve, and I feel like he realizes maybe I should not be an asshole to girls, to women, right? And I think maybe that's something for every single character. They have like this one part of them that is imperfect, and that was Jimmy's, where it's like, yeah, I'm a ladies' man in the worst possible way, but I grow from that by the end of it.
Speaking of growth, let's talk about Guy Gardner's haircut.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I was like,
See,
how?
it works. It works. It works. I thought the Justice Gang was deployed beautifully, especially Mr. Terrific in that scene. Everyone's talking about how cool Mr. Terrific is and how the actor finally got his redemption after his awful treatment in that one X-Men movie. And I had a tweet weirdly go viral because I was thirsting over Hot Girl, and people were like, she didn't even do anything. I was like, exactly. Like, literally, the
Excuse me?
entire Justice Gang was perfect. I'm wondering when they're going to become the Justice League, but that remains to be seen. And their scenes were filmed in Ohio. Can I get a whoop whoop?
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop whoop.
Yes.
Ooh.
Ohio's
Yeah.
good for something.
Derek, stop acting like you aren't a Cavs fan.
Well,
We
I'm just
all
kidding.
know
Cleveland rocks.
And this is like
Cleveland rocks.
this was the first time we ever see the Hall of Justice on the big screen.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
and
Real
and
Hall
it
of
was
That's very
it
cool.
was actually inspired by the like train station in Ohio, right? In Cleveland.
Yes, it was. Yes, we
So-
started it. We built it brick by brick. Personally,
All right, okay,
I built it.
all right,
Oh,
all right.
you built
okay.
it.
All right, bro.
Enough about Ohio, okay? We
All
get
right.
it.
Okay, I do think it's interesting. I hated the costumes when they first were going around, but then Hot Girl has the look without the jacket, and suddenly it worked.
The
I was like,
sleeveless.
the
Yeah.
sleeveless look is
Yeah.
perfectly fine, you know. And then the Mr. Terrific outfit is just the Mr. Terrific outfit, like
Yeah.
so no
Right.
notes. And then just Guy Gardner is not in his like usual, I guess, green leather
Lantern.
jacket or whatever.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the Justice Gang?
They were awesome. I loved it so much. I like didn't have any frame of reference for any of these characters, but like I understood them instantly. Like I feel like this movie was really good for that because yes, we get a lot of characters, but they're shown and they're given stuff to do in a way that like you know these people. Like Guy Gardner's haircut, I don't know if that's canon. I don't know where that came from, but that tells me everything I need to know about this guy.
That tells me that he definitely is going to be at a diner eating Fruity Pebbles with milk with a glass of milk at the same time. That
Yeah.
was wild.
Like a
That
serial
was so
killer.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Way too
It's
much
those little
dairy.
things.
I do think Guy kind of had my favorite moment in the film. One of my favorite moments where like the kids wishing for Superman, and then Guy Gardner flies down. Sorry, man, Superman couldn't make it. Looks like you got an upgrade. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, and then the music
So
cue
good.
happened. I was
Yeah,
like,
and then
hell
he
yeah.
proceeds to just like middle finger every like that's his way of like attacking.
The tanks flipping
The
over with the
tanks,
middle
yeah.
finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Metamorpho coming in handy.
Yeah.
Like-
Dude had aura. That shit was crazy.
You know what was very cool about this movie is that everybody's aura, they didn't have to farm it. You know what I mean? Like
No.
Interesting.
it just felt natural. Even
Mm-hmm.
it's like Superman, every time it would focus in on the S. Like it wasn't too long. It wasn't super slow motion. Same thing with Guy Gardner, right? Like you got the aura from the stuff he's actually doing in the plot. He's not just like, being in slow mo for 20 seconds for no reason. Mr.
Yeah,
Terrific,
oven mitts.
obviously.
Oven mitts on the
mitts.
kaiju. Like so stupid.
Literally.
But
Yeah.
awesome. Tells me everything I need to know about this guy. Like
Exactly.
Yeah, the baseball
Speaking
bat.
a baseball bat in the background. I also
Yeah.
love just how jaded everybody was about these intergalactic like moments. They like Superman's like, yeah, they can handle it. But while
Yeah.
we have this out here, let's make it beautiful. Let's make it like celestial and gorgeous and like provide the background for this really tender moment between Lois and Clark.
I feel like Guy Gardner is just what James Gunn would be like as a superhero. Almost.
Really?
Like
Yeah.
not like what he would be like the way like his attitude or whatever, just like the way he fought though. like
His
James Gunn-
constructs.
James Gunn would definitely like use a a baseball bat and hit a kaiju with a baseball bat or a celestial being whatever or put oven mitts on a kaiju. Like he would definitely do that. Let's be honest. But what? You got something?
That just reminded me. There was just like so many instances in this movie where like the eyes were threatened. Eyes like got poked and jammed and like it just really grossed me out. And
Yeah.
every time it happened, like both times I watched it, I had to like turn away. And it just
Look.
reminded me of like the eye jammer.
Yeah.
they had
Oh
on-
God. Yeah, I almost did the same thing. But Derek, you mentioned the S on the close-up shots. I wanted to mention that was like probably the best Superman intro that I've seen since like
Yes.
it was a nod to like the classic and a nod to the comics
Yep.
of the art and the style of it. That was such a great I the way it was shot when he was flying, and then like it just pans to the Superman logo, and then it just expands out and it glows. Oh my god, I was like, this is like a real life comic. This is a
Yeah.
real life comic right here.
It was so.
It's
It
beautiful.
was. Yeah, it was so good.
Ugh,
The
that's
beginning.
how I knew I was gonna love it.
The second one I didn't like as much. Or sorry, I think there's like three, right? There's the intro one where they does it, and then the Superman, the Donner type letters. Then there's one with all the Raptors and him and Crypto, and they finally defeat the Raptors, and then it does the S again for a moment, and then there's like a final one after he defeats Ultraman. And that one's it's less on the S and more just kind of him. That one I didn't like as much though. I think at that point, because he was like battle damage in the eyes and stuff, that one didn't hit the same for me. But sorry. Anyway,
No, don't be sorry.
Yeah.
Let's do our final ratings for Superman. Let's start with Emily, aka Movie Mija. What would you rate Superman out of 10?
Out of 10?
Or it could be whatever numerical, oh my god, I cannot speak, numerical listing you want.
Okay, because on Letterboxd, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
Okay.
So that's where I have it. I feel like this is a very timely movie. I feel like there's a lot of things I could nitpick or like start to like overthink about, but I think because the core of the story is about joy and hope and goodness, I feel like it sticks the landing with that messaging so strongly that it really all comes down to that. Like even at some point I had to ask myself like, how do I feel about these brown kids being the face of like empathy or like being a tear-jerking moment where they're crying out for Superman, right? Because on one day I'm like, it moves me to tears because it's really fitting, and then another day it's like, I'm questioning like, how do I feel about them using this picture for that moment? But at the end of, I came back around and I was like, no, they need to see this picture in this moment. This is important. It's not saying anything political. It's not, to your point, Justin, like it's not saying anything about like these actions that are happening in the real world, but it is an important moment just to see that people need help and Superman wants to help people no matter what. He wants to help squirrels. He wants to help everybody. And it's like that core theme and that joy and how all of that also motivates the creative direction, the colors, the action, the music. That song when Eddie Gathegi's Mr. Terrific is like taking down all of the Raptors, I've had it on loop, like constantly. So for that reason, and because it's also just a lot of fun, I gave it 4.5 out of 5.
Interesting. Stefania, what would you rate it?
Immediately after I saw the movie, I was like, that's a 5 out of 5 movie for me. Like that was so perfect for me.
Whoa!
I was like that. I literally had no complaints about anything with it. I thought I just enjoyed everything about it. I told my friend that, and he was like, "Sit with it a bit, let it simmer, and wait, and then rate it." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." But honestly, like I would go down to a 4.5 out of 5. I really had no issues with this movie. I enjoyed it. I had a great time. I loved the story. I loved the acting, the fighting sequences. From the beginning, like how it opens, even with like the text showing up on the screen, like I even loved that. And I knew then and there that I was gonna love this movie. I knew at the title, the first title card, that I was gonna love this movie. So there's really no complaints that I have. One thing I do want to point out, a little Easter egg that I wanted to mention earlier, but when everyone was fleeing from Metropolis, right, with the split happening, people were going to Gotham City. They were escaping to
What?
Gotham City. Did y'all see that sign?
The
Like-
freeway
No.
sign, right?
Yeah, the
They're
freeway sign.
screwed.
Yeah, I was like, damn, y'all escaping this just to go somewhere pretty
Worse.
crazy. I hope
Yeah.
worse.
Hope you got money.
Yeah, and so so that was like our connection to the other characters in the DC universe, that being Batman, right, Joker and all. But also Um, I saw a lot of people comparing the Batman and Superman, the shots of Batman walking out of the flames, right? In that one scene, and then Superman coming up out of the smoke. And Super Oh my God. I literally was like I dropped my phone. I was like, this is the
My
most beautiful
theater
thing.
cheered in that moment. They
Yeah,
were like,
I when he
"Oh!"
came up out of the smoke, I was like tears.
And
Tears.
again,
Yes.
not an aura farm because it's like not even
No.
close. It's not even a
No.
close up shot. It's super wide. You barely see him.
Yeah.
You can't make out the face or even maybe the symbol. That's it.
Yeah. It's
You
just
know.
you see that and say like it's just a random screen grab that's just on the internet, whatever, you don't know where it's from. You see that and you're like, that has to be Superman.
Yeah.
No one else can look like that. That's Superman. Ugh, God, it's
Yeah.
so good. I want
And
that
it's
framed.
it's not him doing something like or hurting somebody else. That's not the big heroic moment. All the big
Yeah.
heroic moments were those saves, and it
Yes.
chills, absolute chills every time.
Someone was like, I knew this was the best Superman when he saved a squirrel. Because Superman would save a squirrel. I'm like, you're
Hmm.
so damn right. Yeah, I loved it. Final score 4.5 out of 5. There, Justin, you're muted.
And that's why I'm joining the harem. Um, Derek, what would you, Derek, what would you rate this movie?
I'm gonna rate it a little bit less now if you're in the harem. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that,
Come on, Justin has a lot to offer. Like, let him into the harem.
bro.
Oh, gosh.
WB is just trying to like launch a new reality show, and that's why they threw in the harem joke in there. They're like,
my God.
Oh no.
what were we doing? Oh, ranking it. I'm giving this. I don't know. I'd hesitate to give it a full 5 because I feel like that has such a weight on it, and you have.
Interesting.
But it's definitely not lower than a 4 for me. I think this is a movie that has reinvigorated the character, has launched the DCU, hard launched the DCU like real well for me, and I think it's even going to have ripple effects on the genre as a whole. I think what we think collectively, what we think it means to be a superhero is going to start looking different across different media. I think we're going to see some less like military propaganda, like, Brave New World and fucking, shit that Marvel likes to do when it comes to that. But I think also, which is what I'm most excited for, is we're going to start to see more actual superpowers being consistently used in superhero media, like live action superhero media. I don't think the MCU has used powers as overtly as everybody in the Superman movie did. Right? We had literally a literal Green Lantern construct. Right? We had a freaking kaiju, sorry, not construct, but constructs. Right? Like he's using his Green Lantern powers like if it was shooting a gun. Right? Like it's something super simple that you would think would be very prevalent in the MCU, which isn't really though, right? Like every hero is just kind of like some form of soldier
Yeah.
in the
The
MCU.
the only like gun moment we have in this movie is with Lex Luthor and his like
Mm-hmm.
game of Russian roulette. Like,
Right, right.
That's
So
all
and it's
I
a
need
I'm
is
goofy
excited to
looking
one.
see it.
gun.
It is
Yeah.
goofy, yeah. I feel like it's an Easter egg of some sort, right? Like it has to tie back to something for them to have chosen that gun of all guns. But yeah, I think it's just going to reinvigorate the genre. As a standalone film, I rank it high on its own. But for what it's about to do, I think for the genre, that gives it an extra little boost, in my opinion.
Nice.
Do you think?
Oh, I
So
don't care about my rating. It's okay. Go
No, no,
ahead.
no, no. I just want to mention yes or no question. Do you think Bizarro will show up because Ultraman, it went into space, whatever, the black
Ooh.
hole. Potential for Bizarro to show up.
Was
Yes
he
or no?
Bizarro or was he Doomsday?
Ooh, I feel like we haven't seen Bizarro. I feel like he'd be a Bizarro.
Maybe. Like he's most likely Bizarro. But
Yeah.
like what? Like he's just flopping around out there with
Yeah.
no direction. His last direction was to kill Superman.
I think
Yeah.
if he's in a black hole, like time and space, timey-wimey stuff. I think they're
Send him
just gonna
back in
put him.
time.
I think
He's
they're just gonna put him in a separate reality, and it'll be like Crime Syndicate, like actual Ultraman.
oh my gosh.
You know,
Ultraman destroys the Flash movie.
so
Oh
like
my
yeah,
God.
and that'll be like 10 years down the line. Like that's a movie for like some time from now for sure. I don't think it's gonna be Ultraman, Doomsday or Bizarro, but we'll see. I
Right.
guess they
We'll
definitely
see.
left it open.
Yeah.
Do we have time for
Whoa,
one?
what's your
Am I
rating?
the- Oh, 4 out of 5. I think it's a wonderful start for the new DCU. Gun don't jam. I was wrong. You did a good job. Just leave out the weird sex shit. 4 out of 5. Uh,
You
do
said
we
gun
have
don't jam. I
time
love that. Okay, sorry.
for one Am I the Asshole post?
Sure, I got 10 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. Are we ready? Do it for the socials. And
Do it.
this will be my last one for the next 2 weeks. You guys are gonna be without me. Anyways.
Oh, finally.
Oh wow. Okay, I see how it is. When I'm hanging
Your
out with
harem
James
duties
Gunn.
are getting in
Yeah,
the way.
with my harem buddies. You're gonna be so jealous. Anyways,
Real harem of Metropolis.
does
Harem
Supergirl
wives.
have a harem?
Real harem wives of Metropolis.
Real
That's
harem
what I-
wives.
This
Supergirl has a harem?
does she?
No, harem is wives, unless.
I mean,
Hey,
unless-
I'm all for it. Hey.
All right. Am I the asshole for not going to my twins' wedding?
I'm gonna say no.
Depends.
Yeah. Nah.
No, you have
I
to
feel like
lock
it's a
in,
trick
Emily. You
question.
have to lock in.
Oh, I have to have an answer beforehand. Okay. No.
Your twins' wedding.
Yeah, I don't know the history of these twins. What did you?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
there's a good and evil twin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe
What
trope
if
for a
they,
reason.
what if
Getting
they body
married.
swapped at one point and that's actually her husband, but her evil twin switched places with her and she couldn't go to the wedding.
Grab Lindsay
Interesting.
Lohan. We're doing a remake.
Okay. This would be
Did
so
you not
funny.
see the last season of You? Like, come on.
Yeah, I did. It was good.
What a weird scene. Anyway, we're not talking about that. Anyways. All right. I, 24 male, have an identical twin. We're not close, but I thought we had basic mutual respect. That belief was tested. I grew up in a traditional southern town and only began coming out in college about 5 years ago. It's been slow, especially with family, but since moving to DC in 23 for school/work, I felt more comfortable living authentically. After moving, I met my boyfriend, 26 male, and we've been together for 2 years. Over time, I've introduced him to my friends and family when I felt safe. Cut to November 24. I was home for the holidays and told my twin and his fiancée about my boyfriend. They seemed happy for me. While staying with them, wedding details arose, and they asked if I'd be bringing a date. I said yes, my boyfriend. My twin had gone to bed, but his fiancée said, "While there are pros and cons, it's up to you if you want to bring him." That felt like the green light. My twin constantly deferred to her on decision, so I didn't think I needed to double check. 5 months passed, and my boyfriend and I had spent $1,300 on travel, flights, hotel, etc. 3 weeks before the wedding, I mentioned on a call with my brother that we were all set. His tone shifted. "Oh, is boyfriend actually coming?" I reminded him of the convo with his fiancée. He said she never gave me permission and accused me of making it up. Then said, "We can't allow your boyfriend to come. We worry how dad's side will react." I offered to call dad on the spot. He dodged, saying he checked with his fiancée despite just saying it was his decision. An hour later, no change. I was still invited, alone, still expected to buy a groomsman matching suit, even though I wasn't in the party, and show up smiling. That's when I snapped. I asked, "If I didn't invite your fiance to my wedding, would you still come?" He couldn't answer and ended the call after some harsh words. Trying to make things right, I came out to my dad, which I feared for years, to explain the situation. He was surprisingly indifferent and even said uninviting my boyfriend was extreme. He offered to talk to extended family, and I thought I was removing the main obstacle. Weeks later, my twin called again. He now claimed our friends would be weirded out, so the excuse shifted. I said, "If my boyfriend's not invited, I'm not coming." He didn't budge. Here's the kicker. Days later, my dad told me the fiance admitted she did give me permission but changed her mind when she remembered who would be there. She denied this to my twin. Also, one of her bridesmaids is openly gay and brought her girlfriend, but according to the fiance, she's not a part of the family, so it's different. So I didn't go. I'm still wondering if I made the wrong call. My absence was noticed. I got texts asking where I was. My mom had to explain it repeatedly, so instead of avoiding attention, my absence became the story. My relationship with my twin is dead, and some family ties now feel fragile. Part of me wonders, should I even sucked it up and gone solo just to preserve bonds that shaped my early life? So, am I the asshole for skipping the wedding?
No,
No.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Interesting. What is the reasoning?
Um, the morale of it, hello? Like, you're gonna
Yeah.
say, oh, yeah, he's invited, and then be like, oh, wait, there's homophobic people there. Maybe not. Or it sounded like she was embarrassed to have, like, someone who's gonna be part of her family who's openly gay with his boyfriend at the wedding. She sounded embarrassed. So that's a red flag, absolutely. And also another thing, hello, the brother didn't ask his twin brother to be part of the wedding. What? And then expected him to buy a groomsman suit. What? Are you kidding?
True.
That would not fly in my
That's
family,
weird. That's
might I
weird.
add. But yeah,
Yeah, this is a
absolutely not. You're
mess.
not the asshole. You are not. I would definitely not go either. And the fact that like she had a friend who was openly gay and brought her girlfriend too, just because she's not family. That's why. Girl, just say you're homophobic without saying you're homophobic. Okay.
Right.
Ooh,
I feel like
okay.
that's a weird way to start a wedding though, too. Like your wedding, like if it's my wedding day, I don't want the focus to be on the people I didn't invite, first of all. Second
Mhm.
of all, the reason for not inviting the brother and his boyfriend was just so shitty. Like it's so shitty. It's like you have all these months of planning. You have time that you could take to tell people, "Hey, my husband is going his my brother-in-law is going to be bringing his boyfriend. Don't be weird about it." Okay? Like have the conversations with the people who are that are problematic. Don't just like assume, "Okay, let's take out the problem." Like you're putting the onus of like problematicness on the queer couple when it's everyone who's homophobic or anyone who's going to be weird. Like those are your guests. And the first gesture, this could have been a turning point in the family. The first gesture you could have made to say, we as a couple who are getting married today accept, his brother's boyfriend, and you're going to have to deal with it. Like they have so much power as the wedding couple to say,
Yeah.
deal with the
Mhm.
guests that we're bringing, Like
And there are
I
other
just,
gay people there.
Yep. And like even their dad was supportive when he finally came out. Like the fact that he gave the reason, like, oh, not the reason, because I think he asked, right, if their dad knew, not that dad knew, or that you said, right? Didn't you mention earlier that like the brother was like, did you
uh,
ask dad or something
He
he
offered to
about?
call dad.
Oh, you
He
offered
he
to
came
call
out
offered
dad,
to
first.
yeah,
call him.
yeah. And then his brother said like, yeah, I already handled that. No, you didn't. You didn't handle that because
Wow.
then the dad came out to another dad. The other brother came out to the dad later, right? And the dad was supportive. So that's how you know he didn't speak to the dad at all,
Interesting. Do
dude.
you think it's the fiance's family?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to throw his fiance under the bus, maybe, or
Yeah.
maybe what the heck? But there are gay people on her side, so what's the issue?
I don't know.
Look,
Problematic.
old people, look, 90% of the problems in today's world can be solved if old people just died. And I know,
Whoa,
and I,
Yo!
and I, and I
Yo!
know that sounds extreme.
am I the asshole?
I liked it. Matter of fact, I loved it. No, it's true. No, listen.
Keep
It
your hands
sounds
off my
like
grand.
it sounds
No,
like the
get
fiance. Yeah.
away.
No, it sounds like the fiance is very much like, no, because my parents are not gonna like it if they know that his family has one gay person, even though I associate with gay people too. But and this and that, like who gives a fuck? Your parents got married, built their lives, their family, their circle, their friends, their network, the way they saw fit. Now it's your turn. Stop fucking worrying about what these people, what they care about, right? Like it's not their life, it's your life. If your brother's important to your fiance, that's all that should matter to you. It shouldn't make a difference what your parents think about somebody they've never met.
Do you
So
think? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
no, and then I think just zooming out here a little bit because I did make a very bold claim of killing every old person in the planet. I think that applies to society in general. Like if it does not directly affect you, the odds are overwhelmingly that it will never affect you. It's not going to be some sort of indoctrination on your kids. It's not going to be some sort of replacement theory. It's not going to be some sort of like weird, some morality issue where it condemns you to an eternity in hell. In fact, your position being so cruel against them actually might be what condemns you. But that's a whole other like theological argument. The point is, if those people weren't so cemented in that frame of thinking, their kids would not grow up thinking that way and in effect turning into those old people when they get old. So
The brother would have been
old people need
the
to
brother's
die.
not even an important part of this wedding. Like Stefania said,
No.
he's not even in the wedding
Right.
party. He would have just been sitting in the back. Like no one even noticed that he was there. Like
Yep. But do you think that the fiance's parents, right? She told them like her fiance's twin brother, is gay and is going to bring his boyfriend. Do you think that the parents were like, no, don't, like they didn't want them there, or they didn't want like because
She probably didn't even say it.
or maybe she didn't say it. I don't know, because I'm thinking in my head, like, maybe the parents think, like, oh, like, there's a gay person in the family. How likely do you think, like, their child's going to be gay or something like that? Like, you know what
It's
I mean?
literally the
Like,
plot of The Birdcage.
yeah, so it's like, dude, that's not how it works. So
the older I get, the less I understand homophobia. I just don't.
Sure.
Like I kind of got
Really?
learned about queer people in middle school and then that was it.
yeah,
Everything after that, I'm just like, why are you all so obsessed with?
Yeah. I got bills to pay,
want-
bro. I have a fucking
I don't-
mortgage to take
yeah.
care of.
There's
Like,
literally like a World War III about to happen, bro. You're really scared about the LGBTQ community?
yeah.
Their agenda.
Their agenda.
Don't worry, Superman's on the case. We're not gonna get World War
I
III
wish. I fucking wish.
I know.
until his Twitter gets hacked like Elmo
Grimes,
did.
Melania, please.
Oh gosh, I think this was a wonderful episode. Thank you so much for Emily, aka Movie Mija, for joining us. This was so fun. If the people love you and they don't want to shower you with gifts or whatever, where can they send those gifts?
I'm at Movie Mija on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Okay. You can follow this podcast, aka Still Scrolling, on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Are we still on Twitter?
We only have the name. We do not actively use it.
Yeah, follow us on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and all that stuff. And we shall see you next week. Bye.